haven't made a language-related video in a long time. I think the last one was this summer where I did a frequently asked questions about languages. If you want to watch that, I'll link it down below. And today I just have a lot of questions, or like a few questions that I was sent either on Goodreads or on YouTube or via email about languages, learning languages, things like that. And I just want to answer them because maybe they'll be interesting for more than just one person, and this way I won't have to re-answer the same or similar questions all of the time. So, the first question comes from Paula, and she says, I saw a YouTube video of yours in which you give tips on learning new languages, and one of the things you said, and I completely agree with, is that watching series, movies, and reading books in that language you want to learn is really helpful. So I was wondering, could you help me out? Any suggestions on films, music, books in German? Anything would help. Thank you very much. Okay, so first things first, I am probably not the best person to go with this because I have stopped reading German books a while ago and I haven't really started with it again. I do occasionally read the odd German book, but it's not something that I'm very knowledgeable about. I don't know any like contemporary German authors, but I can recommend you some books I enjoyed when I was reading in German like a few years ago. The only thing is that most of them are like middle grade, I guess, or not very adult authors. I do have a few, but yeah. Anyway, so books I really enjoyed, or authors I really enjoyed when I was reading German were Cornelia Funke. She is a children's author, I guess. I still think older people can enjoy her books because she's amazing. And she wrote the entire Heart, Ink, Blood, Ink, Death trilogy, and it's fantastic. I loved it so much, and I'm very proud that it was actually translated into English. I do recommend reading the original though because it's fantastic. I also really enjoyed Jana Frey. She wrote books on very like difficult topics, but that were still for younger people, I guess, or like that dealt with real issues, but that were tailored basically to suit younger audiences. All of her books are based on real stories, at least that's what she claims. I don't know if that's true. From the top of my head, topics of her books that I can remember are, for example, anxiety, anorexia, drug abuse, and incest. And they are very dark at times, but they deal with real issues that exist in the world, and I think that's important for younger people to know about, at least to a certain degree, is that that's a thing that exists, you know, that you need to be careful about. I think her books are amazing and I totally recommend her as an author. As for adult books, I really like some of the classics. I really like Franz Kafka. He's an Austrian author, so I'm very proud of that fact. Obviously, being patriotic and all that kind of stuff. Is it called The Trial in English? I'm not sure, but it's Der Prozess in German, as well as Die Verwandlung, Metamorphosis. And there was another one that just slipped my mind that why can't I remember it? I definitely read 3 of his books. I can't remember the third one. Well, Franz Kafka, he's awesome. And another author that's like classic is Thomas Mann. He wrote Buddenbrooks, I don't know how to like pronounce that in fact because it's a book and they don't tell you how to pronounce it. But it's about a family, about 3 generations I think. Basically there's like a decline that is noticeable over those 3 generations, and they have a business, a family business that kind of deteriorates. There's a whole like, we discussed this in class, in fact in German class, and there's so much to be said about this book. Like we took it apart and analyzed all its aspects, and I really enjoyed it. It's pretty long, but you should read it because it's fantastic. As for movies and music, I don't listen to any German music because I think it sucks. I think songs that are being sung in German are automatically bad. I just don't like the sound of German being sung, and that's all that I have to say on this topic. Feel free to disagree. As far as movies go, I don't watch any German movies either because I do not have a TV, and they usually, in most cinemas, only show like translated movies that are actually in fact English originally, and so I decide to watch them originally in like English and not in German. But that being said, that also means that you can basically get any movie you want as long as it's slightly famous or popular in German because they literally translate everything. Same goes for TV shows. If you have a TV show or movie you really want to watch, just go watch the synchronized version. I don't know any original German movies that I would be like good at recommending like right now. So I'm so sorry. Again, not the best authority on this topic. So the next question comes from Mark, and he says, just out of curiosity, can I ask you why the very Japanese? Are you fascinated by the culture, habits, traditions, or just because it's the most difficult language on the face of earth you want to beat it? If you didn't know, I studied Japanese at university. Actually, I studied Japanese studies, which means it's not just the language, it's also all the things around, like culture and society and economy. And no, I have not actually visited any of the classes on those topics. So basically, at the moment, I just do the language. And the thing is, the reason why I chose it is it's a difficult answer. Yes, first of all, I am absolutely fascinated by Japanese culture. I think it is one of the most just interesting, to me personally, cultures on the face of the earth. Just to borrow your expression, I really like it. I think it's because I'm a similar person, like personality-wise. I don't like to talk about my emotions. I don't like to show negative emotions all that much. I think it's good to try to keep up a happy, good face. I think that's what I basically do all the time, and I think I fit into that sort of mindset very well. I also just really like the general idea of this traditional or ancient, basically, it's probably not that common anymore, but the idea of like honor and loyalty and those things that like come out in like samurai days or whatever, or you know, committing suicide because you've been dishonored. Maybe that's going a bit too far and taking things a bit too far, but essentially I'm in love with that idea of just putting that in as like an important thing. I find Japanese culture incredibly interesting. I've been studying this for 2 years now, and I just learn new things all the time that just baffle me, and sometimes they make me laugh because to me they're ridiculous, but that's just because I haven't grown up with them, and probably to Japanese people, some things we do are ridiculous. So it's not a very objective thing, but I just love it. I love everything about it. The language itself is also really nice, and it's not quite true that it's the most difficult language. It's actually, as language-wise, it's pretty simple. It follows simple rules. Compared to German, it's literally super easy. It's just the writing that's the difficult part, where you have to learn a lot and repeat a lot. That's quite annoying, but whatever. The next question comes from Danielle. She's from Switzerland, so hi neighbor. Hi, how are you doing? She actually sent me a couple of questions, so I'm just gonna do them all. Let's do them all. At what age did you start reading in English? Now, this is actually a difficult question that I get asked quite a lot, and I don't know how to answer because I don't know the answer. It's difficult to say when I started reading in English because we did read books in class pretty early on, maybe when we were 12, 13, but they were literally like abridged versions, dumbed down versions, very easy versions of books, or just very easy books in general. So don't know if that counts. I guess 12, 13, sort of. I started seriously reading in English, or like becoming obsessed with reading in English, maybe at age 15, 16. I had a phase where I would read only English classics because it was like, I'm gonna be cool and I'm gonna read Jane Austen, and then I can say that I read Jane Austen. And I addressed this in my overhyped classics video. I was 15 years old, what can you expect? But I thought it would be like status to read classics. And yeah, that was sort of the time, my introduction into it. I didn't understand half of what was being written in those classics because my English wasn't good enough for the ancient sort of like older version of talking back then, and I just didn't get the subtext, wasn't able to appreciate them for what they were. But I started reading then, and I think I sort of transitioned. It was probably at 17 I went to Ireland on an exchange year, and that was definitely, like, after that I have not read a single, well, not a single book, but very few, like less than 1% of what I've read was in German. So yeah, there we go. Did you grow up bilingual since day one? No. My parents never spoke English to me. I am not officially, like, I'm bilingual now, but I didn't grow up bilingual. I started learning English in kindergarten, but it was words like duck, cat, dog, tree. So I don't know if that counts. I took English since kindergarten, but it was very easy to take it in kindergarten. It wasn't like a bilingual kindergarten, which would have been awesome, but no. So, you know, no bilingual there. Now she asks in German, so wenn du liest, lässt du die Wörter, die du nicht kennst, einfach aus oder checkst du die nachher einfach im Internet oder sonst wo? Hast du schon für deinen Wortschatz all die Wörter nachgeschlagen, aufgeschrieben, Eselsbrücken erstellt? So basically, let me translate. When I read, do I just skip words that I don't understand, or do I look them up afterwards on the internet? And for my current vocabulary. Oh God. I shouldn't be answering questions in languages because I clearly can't speak English. Vocabulary. Okay. As for my vocabulary, did I look them all up? Did I write them down? Or did I find Eselsbrücken? Memory hook? Okay, that's actually what I didn't know. Memory hook. Did I find memory hooks? Just things to remember them by. Also difficult questions. I don't keep track of where I learned which specific vocabulary. Oh, I did keep track of 3 words that I recently learned because I was like ecstatic over having found 3 words I didn't yet know. It was, damn it, I think I remember them. Oh, I actually found a post-it where I wrote one of them down, concomitant, which means begleitend. And then I found insouciant, and damn it, I don't remember the 3rd one. That's a shame. Shit, I'm sorry. I found 3 words. So sometimes I keep track of them. Now I keep track of them because it's very rare. I know most actually all of normal everyday vocabulary, and then some of the fancier vocabulary too, because I like using fancy vocabulary. It's my thing. People criticize me for it, but I do. What's that called? 50-cent words? Something like that. I don't know, 50-cent words. I don't know if that's not in any correlation with the rapper, but just in general. So no, I used to do this when I didn't know words. I'd skip them or guess from the context. Oftentimes that's easy. That's something you can do. It depends really if I think it's going to be an important word that I'm going to use a lot myself, or that I can use. If you think about it, I've thought about this word before and what it meant, and now I know what it means, so I'll use it and I'll write it down, but not usually. I just skip it and hope that I'll eventually learn it just by context and repetition. If you don't have a deadline you need to study for or learn certain vocabulary for, then you're just doing it for yourself. So if you don't currently need to use this one word, you're going to be fine not knowing it for another 2 months or something like that. Hope that answered your questions, and I hope I also answered all of those other questions to your, satisfaction. Please leave any other questions you have down below. You can also send me an email. My email is on my channel page, but I do need to tell you something, little disclaimer. I cannot at this point in time be a language exchange partner for you. I've got a lot of requests to do that, to teach other people German exchange for learning their language, which is very, very nice of you. Thank you so much for offering, but I can't. I have to focus in Japanese right now. I have a lot of things to do, and I do not have the time to have any more language exchange with other people. However, there's always a lot of people in the comments down below who are looking for partners to trade languages with, so maybe you can find someone there. Also, in previous videos I have told you pages, web pages, where you can go and look for language exchange partners, so hopefully you'll find somebody there. I'm so sorry I can't do it. I just do not have the time. It's crazy, but yeah, thank you again for offering. I hope this video was helpful to some of you, and I'm gonna see you soon. Bye! Hi guys! Welcome to the long-awaited January wrap-up. It's already halfway through February, I know, but here it is! Yay! Drum roll, here are all the books I read in January. Let's get started!